Alrighty, and we are back here with another edition of Wacko Bob's Thoughts on the Olympics, done and paid for and sponsored by, of course, the Wacko Weekly, which you can hear every Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on blogtalkradio.com/The Dark Match. Check it out, the Wacko Weekly, totally sponsoring this newsfeed. Now, this Ara Abrahamian, however he says his name, the Swedish wrestler, who had to settle for a bronze. Now, there's more to the story that's being told now as far as this goes, that he was not happy with the end result here to this one, because he was in a semifinal match that pretty much was going to put him in contention for the gold medal, and then a penalty ultimately cost him the match. A very controversial penalty, something that a lot of people got questioned, and the guy who he was facing ultimately won the gold medal. Now, he shakes hands with the Italian athlete who did win the gold medal, who he was facing when he had that penalty that ultimately cost him. Something that he was very much arguing and protesting. And, you know, he throws the bronze medal on the ground and leaves. Looking at his history, he worked hard for the gold medal. And I do believe in 2004 he had to settle for the silver medal once again because of a penalty. And he wasn't going to let history repeat itself and him get a lesser medal this time. And looking at this match that he was in, honestly, if history had to repeat itself only this time in the semifinals and now you had to compete for the bronze, and here you are, you're fighting the gold medal, the guy who ultimately wins the gold medal, you're gonna get a penalty that's going to cost you a shot at the gold or the gold medal, period. And 2 Olympics in a row it's happening to the person who ultimately did win the gold. I'm trying to figure this story out, but judging by what I saw as far as what happened in 2008, I didn't see what happened in 2004, mind you. But I almost do agree with the Swede, Ara Abrahamian, I think his name is. You know, I almost do agree with him, and in being totally upset and wanting something done about this. And from what I heard, there is the highest court to the International Olympic Committee or the World Olympic Committee, whichever comes first, and they are going to be investigating. They're going to be investigating the whole thing now to see if whether or not he is guilty of the penalty that he caused in his match against the Italian who did win the gold. And he's really trying to state his case and make his case known. And if I were in his position with something like that happening, something very similar, I would probably be very upset too. And given the ridiculousness of it, that I do think is ridiculous, I probably would have walked off too. I mean, he has a good case. He really does. And I think the judges and I think everyone around there were dead to wrong. And I think they need to rethink what they've done, where that goes. You know, the Olympics are supposed to be about the games, and it should be done in its fairest capacity. And this is also a thing just to let people know that China was not the only one, you know, that really had controversy as far as their team and their members that represented their country, even as a host, could do. I hope this matter does get investigated, and I hope it gets looked at. And I hope they come down to some sort of settlement that's going to be a little more satisfactory to him. And I know the Olympics it's Thursday the 21st. The Olympics are probably going to be pretty much over probably in about, what, another 4, 5, 6 days. Olympics normally only go 2 weeks. Sometimes they go as far as 16 days. I think it's too short for the Olympic Games, I'll be honest with you. They should go about 3 weeks so everyone can observe all the Olympic Games a little more, so they can learn to respect a lot of the different sports. But that's another story in itself. But I'm going to ask you, the YouTube listeners, a lot of people who've saw my videos before, and I'm going to ask you, and if you can, please reply to this. Do you feel that Ara Abrahamian, however he says his name, do you feel that he might have been ripped off of his shot at the gold medal? And given the history, do you blame him for walking off in protest the way he did? He may have wanted to get himself noticed that he's very upset. I ask you, how do you feel? Because honestly, I told a lot of people this will surprise me. I'm practically with him. The International Olympic Committee had every right to be upset with the way he handled things, but he has every right to be upset as well. And if you're going to simply discipline him, you ought to look at the situation for what it is, and maybe this whole matter of what happened here deserves their undivided attention to really investigate this. Because if worst case scenario, if it becomes to a point to where no one gets their medals for that event, then so be it. I mean, I don't want to sit there and knock the silver medalist or the Italian who won the gold, because they probably did. They did earn it, and maybe they do deserve it. But here's a guy who was left out of the hunt because of a penalty, a very, very questionable and controversial call, in my opinion. He went through this when he was going for the gold in 2004. And he had to settle for the silver because, again, a penalty, a very controversial penalty too. I don't blame him. I do not blame him for being upset. And I can't wait to talk about this more because it will be another thing I do talk about on the Wacko Weekly. But how do you feel? Let me know. Please reply to this. Please listen to the Wacko Weekly. You can call in there. Anyways, I'll be back here later on. I'm going to be talking about an upcoming guest coming to the Wacko Weekly who is a very special person, and I think everyone will love the guests I got lined up for the Wacko Weekly. I will be talking about that real soon, and I can't wait to have this person on. I think everyone will love her, and she's a tremendous person, to say the least. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys soon.